What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Good evening.
Sipping our bourbon.
Yeah, back to man. You never know if we're gonna be sipping bourbon or coffee or like Logan on decaf, of course, if it's coffee.
It is. If it's that early, it's got to be the old.
Is that a non-alcoholic bourbon you're drinking?
It is. It's actually just brown water.
Okay.
I just put a little food coloring in the water,
There you
stir it around.
There you go.
Yeah. So I did have one guy message that he listens to the show a lot, and he's been a really cool listener and responds to stuff. And he was like, I can definitely tell Bobby Lee is more of the early bird, up early. And he said, and I can just tell you're like the night guy. And I said, yeah, I almost did text you because we were running real late, just working at the store and all this, and I was like, man, I don't want to do it. So I didn't text you.
I told somebody earlier, I was like, man, I'm tired. They're like, what time do you get up? And I was like, well, I was going through it. They're like, and I said, we're supposed to podcast tonight, but I said, there's about a 50% chance he's going to text me and say, let's do it in the morning. They're like, y'all get up and y'all do it at 4:30 in the morning. And I was like, well, we don't much anymore. So we used to always do it at 4:30 in the morning. But
I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I made it through that.
If you had asked me about 6 o'clock tonight, because as I was coming home, and I was like, I had to mow the yard, and I was just exhausted. I was like having trouble keeping my eyes open. And hey, let's just do it in the morning. I've been like, all right, fine. I'm gonna mow the yard, grab a bite of supper, probably jump in the shower, rinse off real quick, and then I'm going to bed.
I would not, and I told this guy the problem with that is I don't go to sleep.
Well, it's tough when you have kids.
But they'll be in bed. Like mine will be asleep.
Man, once my kids get asleep, and even some nights, like if I'm just exhausted, especially during the summer, because my wife's, because I'll be trying to get them in bed at like 8:30.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to go to bed.
She's just trying to ravage you the whole time. You can't hardly get them to bed.
No, she's like, it's summer, don't make them go to bed. I'm like, well, all right then, I'm going to bed. Like I'm going to bed before my kids, whatever.
And you do it?
Every now and then I will. I feel. I mean, my kids are 6 and 10. It's not like getting them in bed's a super chore or anything.
Yeah.
But kind of our nightly routine is I always go in the room and say the prayers with them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to not do that. I mean, you never know if you quit doing that. Like,
they just
because one day they're not going to do that with you anymore. So,
dude, we get ours in the bed, and Emerson always wants me to tuck her in. Levi wants his mom to tuck him in, which they share a bedroom. And we get them in, we say our prayers, and we just tell them good night, and we get out of there. And tonight Emerson was like, you're not going to tuck me in? Because they weren't asleep yet. So I gave them a kiss, told them all good night and all that. But we have our little nightly routine, and man, it's good. Like in the summer we have relaxed a little bit on it, but we still try to get them in bed. Like we do a movie night like on Friday nights. We're like, all right, we'll stay up and watch a movie. Levi, sometimes he'll pull a late one with me because he's like me. He'll stay up late. Emerson, she's like her mom. She's sacking out. But Levi has night terrors. Any of your kids have that?
No, just like nightmares.
Well, it's called a night terror. I've never experienced it before. And me and him were watching a movie one night, and Marcy had told me that he did this to her one night. And he I'll just explain what happened. So she was telling me about it, and I'm like, I just had a nightmare. No, it ain't a nightmare. This is night terror, because me and him were watching Kung Pao or some stupid movie. He was great, having a great time, and he fell asleep on the couch. And I was about to get up, and we were going to go to bed, but he was asleep. So I was laying there on the couch, and all of a sudden he sits up, and his eyes are real wide open. And he's like, ah, ah. And I'm like, Levi. And he's just he starts screaming and crying, and he's screaming, and he's literally terrified. And I'm like, Levi! I'm like, what the hell, Levi? I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm freaking out. And I'm like, son, what are you doing? Because he's looking at you, but it's you can tell he's looking at you, but he's not actually looking at you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, son, are you awake? Son! And he doesn't respond. He's just freaking out. And then he'll just stop. And then he's a lot of times he's done it in his bed a good bit. And he'll do it for a little while. And then he just lays down. He just goes back to sleep. The next morning, you're like, son, do you remember that? And he's like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, well, you ain't ever watching a damn movie with me again. And I'm like, it scared the shit out of me. So, it's not fun.
Yeah, I don't want to experience that.
No. Before we get into deep, give a shout out. Zag, you got the hat on.
Yeah, wearing the hat. Hey, good week to talk about the American flag net wrap.
Dad and them were using it this past week.
Good deal. Well, I was wondering because I ordered a bunch for them back during the winter.
Yep.
And
he was pretty proud. He was like, "Man, did you see that wrap we got out there?" He's like, "Man, stars and stripes."
Well, of course, I knew they still had to use up their plain net wrap they still had on the baler. That's what I asked Dad. It's like, y'all got to the American flag stuff yet?
Yep.
He's like, well, I don't know. But, well, good deal. So, yeah, which they didn't pay full price, just like you don't have to, because use that discount code, Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word.
If you don't use it, you're gay.
Yeah.
Even though plain and simple.
And hey, it is officially July, so
oh man,
it's no longer cool to be gay.
That's right. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, corporate America literally showed up this morning. It was all the memes, and it was what's his name, Chan or whatever from The Hangover. He's like, so long, gay boys.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like that's all of corporate America.
A lot less butthole smelling there going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. Happy Straight Pride Month.
Yeah. It's something, I don't know. It's just pride. USA pride, baby. Just
that's
like
right.
That American flag net wrap. The Flexilla water hose. I got on the website, or no, they sent me an email today because of I guess just all their deals and specials. They've always got some good stuff going on. They got the Flexilla garden hoses and a whole bunch of other stuff appropriate for summertime.
Yep. Go check it out.
Yep, check them out.
Use
that discount code.
While you're surfing the web, go to talkdirtpodcast.com and submit your questions. But you need to enter that giveaway because you got, I don't remember, July 17th. I did 30 days. We've had a lot of people enter, but there's still time. There's still time, guys.
Which we don't know what all we're going to put in that prize pack. And it's going to be some good stuff, not just...
Might put a person in there. We might give you a person.
Yeah. I don't know. Somewhere there's a joke in there about politicians and pedophiles and
you can meet Biden. We'll let you meet Biden.
Hunter could probably hook us up.
He'll get you some cocaine, some hookers.
They oh man, totally broke my train of thought talking about hookers and
hookers and cocaine. Want to talk about Under Siege now?
No, damn it, where was I going?
Probably with Biden talking about his little debate crap, his follow-up where they're talking about now suddenly, actually it has been funny to see suddenly all of the liberal media has turned on him and they're like, well, he might have dementia.
And so I think I was talking with you the other night about this off air, of course. I'd never heard this, but there was a clip now going around from Vivek Ramaswamy, or
you were
Ramaswamy,
telling me about
whatever,
this,
however you say his name. Of course he was a Republican whatever
primary candidate.
Of course they all dropped out because Trump was
gun him off the floor with him.
Landslide. But anyway, and he was pointing out, and this was sometime a while back, pretty much called it, he's like, the most important thing to see about this first debate is the date of it.
Yeah.
June 27th. He's like, there's never been a presidential debate that early. Pretty much said it was all because, within the Democratic Party, a lot of people know Biden's just not up for it. He hadn't been up for it for a while, and so this would give them time to shoo somebody else in, and that's been all the chatter for the last few days. Like he's dropping out, they're going to force him out, whatever. But I think he and apparently the more people, Tucker Carlson put out a long statement that it's all Jill. Like Jill is essentially functioning as the president right now.
Really?
It's not other people around him, and I think it may have been Clay Traps or another, kind of conservative commentator pointed out, I was like, yeah, it's because as soon as Joe's no longer president, she's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And they even said that Hunter was like I always thought it was like a joke that like Hunter's actually like an advisor to the president, but no, apparently he does have a voice in the room. But they're starting. They said of course Obama put a tweet out there or whatever, but so kind of behind closed doors he's
good.
Not-
He's rock solid.
No. Obama behind closed doors is not really supporting Joe.
Oh,
like all his support's starting to erode. Of course, Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer are both.
they're foaming at the mouth.
Which both of them, I think, just based on pure politics, would be worse than Biden.
I do too. Well,
and that's why I'm like, man, damn it, did we really want Biden to actually do a little better? Where they could still, try the whole weekend at Bernie's thing.
yeah.
But
Gavin Newsom would be a nightmare.
well, and I think, Trump, for what it's worth, and I love him primarily just because he's an outsider, and hell, most of the Republicans even hate him.
Yeah.
But Trump is obviously extremely polarizing, and Biden is the most beatable candidate possible. Other than an actual corpse, like that truly does not have a pulse anymore, nobody is more beatable than Biden.
Yeah.
And so, yes, like anybody else they would put in there. And yeah, well, like, again, we had a cookout this past weekend, and we were talking, like, yeah, Newsom's up,
He's good looking, smooth talker, looks like a movie star.
yeah, he's a lot of the same things Obama was.
Yeah. He's younger.
Young, charismatic. Everybody's, well, we got two old dudes that, at nearly 80 or in their 80s.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's a lot of things they're not. And so, but I also saw something just a little while ago that Kamala's team is kind of like, hey, are we really going to just totally skip over a woman of color and go straight to another white person?
Yeah.
Like, and then they'll pull the whole race card, potentially. So I'm like, all right, I just hope this plays out for a while and there's a lot of infighting. Ultimately, I think the best thing for Trump's campaign is if Biden, they literally try to
force him in there,
wheel him on the gurney across the finish line.
Yeah.
Which and I've seen other people point out, they're like, okay, the only way that they're going to win this is to rig it. And of course, a lot of us, I don't know that they rigged the last one.
It's pretty suspicious.
But extremely suspicious. Wait, hell, we went to bed at, midnight Central Time last election. Everything, even the world financial markets were reacting as if Trump would have won. And then you wake up in the morning and it's like, no, it's going to be Biden. Like, it would take a miracle for Trump to win. I'm like, what the hell happened at,
3 in the morning,
between 1 and 6 a.m. on the East Coast? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it was over when we went to bed. And so I don't know. And so to me, none of this matters if they're not going to seriously beef up their ability to protect the integrity of the election.
I agree. I
don't remember who it was that famously said it doesn't matter who votes. It's not who votes that matters. It's who counts the votes that matters.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it was kind of because when we recorded last week, that we were like fresh off the debate.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, if you ask me right now who's going to be the Democratic nominee, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because it seemed like, through Friday and the weekend, it looked like, man, there's no way. And we are recording early this week because of the Independence Day holiday. It's just Monday for us here. But yeah, kind of throughout the day today, it was like, Trump or Biden's not backing down. Like, they're going to have to force him out. He's not going to step aside. But yeah.
Well, let me see here. We got some emails. I want to get to the emails here.
Yeah, we hadn't done many emails lately.
No, we hadn't. Trying to think.
Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. We were talking about the giveaway. Yeah, we're going to have all kinds of cool stuff in the giveaway. Probably not going to have a person. No guarantees.
No guarantees.
But we are working. We're working on getting some more swag, some shirts. We talked about it for a while. We're like, we don't want just a logo on a shirt. We want something
catchy. It's got to be cool, man.
And it was actually a kind of an image I had shared and seen online, and somebody kind of responded to me. It's like, that needs to be on a shirt. I had to look back and see who it was, but I was like, you know what, that is brilliant. So I reached out to a local guy about making some shirts for us. So still in the very early stages of that. When we do get them, we're not looking to be in the business of selling a bunch of t-shirts. We'll probably have a limited kind of run of them.
So you have to be watching.
Yeah, I have found out through my Hurricane Creek Farms website that, yeah, there is no money to be made selling hats and shirts. I guess unless you're moving like extreme volume.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it when I did it on my other one.
Well, you find out very quickly, all right, I'm making like a few dollars per hat or shirt.
And then I got to pay shipping.
Well, and even after I figure in the shipping, I'm making a few dollars. But then, like, to have a Shopify account, it's like $30 a month. I'm like, yeah, so I got to sell like at least, 6 or 8 things a month, to cover that cost. This doesn't even count my time. And yeah, I don't sell that many. I mean, I don't push it super hard, but so yeah, it's not going to be a deal. Once we get the shirts, of course, we'll let everybody know. We'll have them available somewhere for you.
Just be ready. Just be ready. All right, here we go. Connor writes in. This is all right. Yeah, this is one. Connor writes in. Hey guys, Connor from
McGregor.
Yep, Connor McGregor. Hey guys, it's Connor McGregor.
You got to read it with an accent.
I can't even. I'm not even going to try to butcher that one. This is our buddy from Alaska. Hey guys, Connor from Alaska writing back in. Thanks for the response. Little background on my operation. I bought 2 Berkshire Tamworth Cross gilts last year, and then a barrow. Is it barrow or barrow?
Barrow.
A barrow from a different person. Long story short, the barrow got killed by a black bear. That's an Alaska problem if I ever heard one. I've been running electric ever since and definitely should have before, but I was trying to save a buck. I then switched my sights to AI, which can be kind of pricey because shipping pencils out to about $100 each time, but still cheaper than feeding and dealing with a boar if it works out all right. I was never able to get one of my gilts to take after 3 different tries, so she got cold, and I was able to sell her whole to a friend of a guy I had on my list for a pretty good price. My folks have been growing their farm for the last 5 years or so and selling beef, raw milk, eggs. Raw milk, they're going to come after you, man, on that bird flu. Eggs, whole chickens, and other things. My plan was to have 2 litters, sell them 1 to raise out, and sell to their customers, then see if I could sell the next litter as feeders. They ended up purchasing another Jersey to milk, so they asked if I wanted to raise the litter I had for them and sell to the customers they already had lined up. Pretty obvious yes, as that's more money in my pocket. I thought about a Jersey cow, be kind of cool, but I don't want to be milking all the time.
No.
He said there's a good demand for feeder pigs in the spring around here. A lot of people buy a feeder from a producer and raise their own to butcher. I still see a lot of people on Facebook wanting to buy pigs from people that just had a litter, even this late in the summer. I think a guy could easily sell 2 to 3 litters in the spring, but the rest of the year is where I'm a little bit wary. One fella I talked to said he had a lot of trouble selling pigs he had grown out in the winter, and I see another gal that's about an hour down the road that is selling some that would have grown out in the early spring. If I could grow out and sell 1 litter in the winter, I could be decently profitable, but I'm not sure if those people were just screwing something up or if there really isn't a demand that time of year. When do you sell most of your beef? Well, it's spring, ain't it?
Well, but he's talking about selling them actually for like breeding stock for other people.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, which pigs are different. I mean, pigs can have basically 3 litters a year. And obviously Alaska, the weather's totally different. I don't know, if you got an indoor setup, which I would think you would have to,
I would
especially
think so
if you're farrowing out during the wintertime. I don't know, and I don't know how populous the area is, but if you got litters that I think people want to buy them for breeding stock, that's great. If not, just feed those suckers out. And, and I would think there should be a demand fairly consistent for fresh pork. It should be mostly year round. I know around here a lot of people traditionally like to kill hogs like around Thanksgiving. Then you got all your pork real popular around the holidays and all, for all those meals. But yeah, I don't know. And that's usually when I buy a pig from my other buddy Logan. Which I've still got a bunch of pork, and I set out some sausage and pork chops today. Polished off some sausage, I guess, yesterday morning.
You polished off a sausage.
Made me a little breakfast skillet. After talking to our buddy Brandon about all the different ways to eat potatoes, well, I need to talk to him. I couldn't believe it.
Uh-oh.
A 15-pound sack of potatoes. I took a picture because I thought I'd just seen it wrong. $2.99. 15-pound sack.
Sounds really cheap.
And these were actually, I forget the actual name brand on the bag, and they were utility potatoes. So I think that's basically their seconds.
Yeah.
They're odd shapes and sizes. They're not many in there that are good, just bacon potatoes. But I boiled some for mashed potatoes. We're gonna make potato salad to go with barbecue this week.
That's cheap.
I was gonna send him that picture, be like, how on earth are y'all making any money? Which I know that was, because I mean this is retail price.
Which he said that the prices were down.
But
yeah, golly.
Anyway, I got way off subject there. Where were we even going?
Well, he did mention about the meat locker, like feeding them out, because he said he's got a meat locker, a gal actually that does the butchering.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly where in Alaska if there's enough population for that demand.
He lives on the Kenai Peninsula.
Kenai Peninsula.
Yeah, in a fairly populated area. Closest USDA facility is 3 hours away. Whew.
Well, but you don't have to have a USDA facility if you're selling them, like whole pigs.
And he's talking about to the butcher though. He's got a butcher here that cuts them up in August, but he said you got to catch her before moose hunting season.
Okay, so it may be tough. Well, and I don't remember how long we would feed our pigs out. It doesn't take long to finish out a pig, from the day they're born until you've got them at slaughter weight. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about feeding out pigs
I don't either.
To work the logistics of that.
He said, good point about margins. Certainly a lot of waste from the slaughter. Some of the hippy-dippy customers I sell the raw milk to want some of the organs. Yeah, no. But other than that, there's not much option for the rest. Another point is some of these people want no corn, no soy. So I do pander to that crowd. Hey, man, eat up that. I mean, hey, that's marketing. You're making extra. They're dumb.
If that's what your customer wants, then yeah.
Give it to them. They don't know any better.
I have an occasional person that wants some grass-fed beef, and I'll tell them that's not what I have. And I really don't know who to send you to. If it got to the point where everybody was wanting that, and I started having some of my customers that are currently buying beef, they're like, we'd rather have grass-fed. I'd have to really research to, adequately get a steer, up to market size, just grass feeding them. And then, obviously through the winter, you're having to feed them hay, and even like my cows on pasture, like they get a little bit of grain, like how much grain are they allowed to have and still be considered grass fed?
Yeah.
Because, again, it's all semantics. They're all grass fed, but some of them are grain finished. Well,
corn's a grass.
I've made that point as well. And it 1 billion% is.
It is. Yeah, it's a grass.
Yeah.
He says here shipping meat for online purchases definitely is not an option up there due to cost.
Not something I'm even interested in doing myself. I know some folks that do it. I mean, if I ever was just doing it full time and couldn't, was trying to sell 100, 120 steers a year, I might get to the point where, all right, we'll start shipping it. But
yeah, but you ain't got to right now.
Yeah, I've got plenty of local demand work.
Yep. He said, I appreciate the help. Hope to hear some more from you fellas. Let me get my bearings on bear hunting a little bit more, and we'll have to have you guys up here. Good luck on your elk hunt, Wyoming elk hunt. I moved up here from there 5 years ago.
Yeah, we'll help keep your pigs safe.
We will, man. I'd love to shoot a bear or kill it with a knife. I want to climb up in a tree and jump out of the tree on it.
I want to say they'd probably tell you that's illegal. Wasn't there like a guy somewhere that was like deer hunting with a spear?
The spear is awesome.
During archery season, and they're like, well, that's not actually archery.
Did you see the video? He had a GoPro on the spear?
No, I just heard about it.
It was wild. It was really wild. Yeah, I don't remember what all came of that.
Does it seem like a great... I mean, I, without me even seeing the video, like...
It dies really fast.
Well, but still, like, you see a lot of the dumbasses that on social media that put stuff out there like,
oh, yeah.
Bro, this is exactly what the anti-hunting people are going to, like, just run wild with.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, they hated it. A lot of it's just
people doing stupid stuff with animals after they're dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like, just...
I tell you what I don't enjoy... And I've never enjoyed when people post a headshot of a deer and its eyes are bulged out and stuff. I'm like,
God,
man, why do you put that up?
I don't know who on earth would
There's weirdos. I was in a deer page on Facebook, and it's like guys are like, "Hell yeah, brother, yeah, man," and I'm like, "This just looks awful. Like, why do you?
Yeah.
Who wants to? I don't want to see that. It's not a pleasant sight."
Yeah, let's give the anti-hunting people more ammunition.
Yeah. All right. Here we got. So Connor, appreciate it, man. Write to us anytime. Yeah, we'd love to come throw a spear at a bear out there. All right. Luke writes in, gentlemen. He uses that term loosely. I'm a little late, but y'all asked what we're drinking. He's got Green River Weeded. I've never had that one before, but I like a weeded bourbon. Penelope 4 grain, the white label. I've had some Penelope. You ever had any of the Penelope? I don't know that I've had that one.
I don't know that I've had it at all.
Dang, this guy's got some holiday soft red wheat. Man, I got to try these because I love the weeded ones, but I honestly have. This is this is a good list because it's different. Now, and his last one is one I do have. He's got the Angel's Envy. He said, those are my daily/regular sippers. I'm an avid whiskey drinker and enjoy hearing what you guys are trying. Thanks for the great show. Well, I got the Heaven's Hill again tonight.
Well, I think we're both doing the same thing we did the last time.
You got your
for an evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rebel Cast Strength. Looks like that was a gift, courtesy of Mr. Tim.
Yep.
It's good stuff. Like I say, it's 126 proof. What'd you say that?
This one's 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It is really good. Well, I've checked those out because I love weeded bourbons. Some people don't like them. I like a weeded bourbon. So I'll try them out. I have had a Penelope bourbon, but I don't know that it's a 4 grain white label. And I've got some Angel's Envy in there right now. That is a solid one. I've tried out those other two.
I'll say, was there a bottle of Angel's Envy over there? No.
I think it's in the house.
Okay.
All right, dude. Hey, y'all write in anytime. Especially tell us that stuff. I mean, we love talking some whiskey. Luke, thank you, man. All right, our next one comes from Kyle Hanks, our cousin. He's wrote in before. He's a cousin in like a different area. We got cousins everywhere. All right, Logan, I found myself in a similar situation a couple years ago on the tractor issue. I am a red guy through and through. I decided to take a chance on a newer, versatile front wheel assist tractor, 280 horsepower, and I found out it's cheaper for a reason. Needless to say, it didn't stick around long, and I ended up trading it for the tractor I wanted in the first place. So, appreciate you writing in, Kyle. I actually messaged him back. We talked back and forth about tractors a little bit. And man, I did go look at several. I went and there was an 8270R that it looked really clean. I'll tell you my plans, because I looked in the 8335R and it had been smoked in and was rough as hell. Looked like the Dirty Mike and the Boys had a soup kitchen in there or something when I went and looked at it. It was so dirty. But I wasn't a big fan of the way it looked, but they got in an 8270R that they took in on trade. That's a little lower horsepower than I wanted, but you can put a chip on them. I think I talked about maybe putting a black box on there. You can up the horsepower like 30 or 40%. So that would get her up over the 300 horsepower range. And everything else is the same on the tractor. They just have a different ECU to drop the horsepower rating. So I did kick that around. But God bless it, man. That tractor, even that one was 170 grand. And I just can't do it. That's what he told me the price, and the price wasn't terrible. He was going to give me a pretty strong trade in. He was going to give me a good bit more than I even paid for that tractor like 4 years ago or more, which is pretty darn good. But then I'd have to replace the tractor, and I'm too strained already to add another large payment. So I'm just going to be trucking with the 8420 for a little longer. Yeah. So I did not ever call about the red one. The price was nice, but man, I don't know. I know it's not a Deere thing as much for me, honestly, as it is our Tennessee tractor. Like, I know all the guys. I know the service techs. I go to church with one of the service techs. He takes really good care of us. I don't know, maybe one or two people at our Case dealer. So that makes a big difference.
See, and that's kind of the way I've become with our Kubota dealer. Is like every time I'll just be playing around on the internet, and I'm usually just entertaining myself while I'm, sitting there on the toilet or something. I'm bored. I'm looking at Tractor House.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you're playing with yourself on the toilet?
I'm playing with Tractor House on my phone. And I'll be like, look at someone like, well, who am I kidding? Like, it would have to be like a screaming deal for me to not deal with my local guys and with the machine.
Who is it, First Choice? Is that what they're called?
Choice,
yeah.
First Choice Farm and Lawn. I always want to call them First Choice Kubota.
Yeah.
Kubota's kind of their flagship brand, but they sell a whole bunch of other.
Gotcha.
All kinds of different types of equipment, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still in this age we live in. People order their cars online, and they order everything online, and they don't even have to go outside their house hardly anymore. Like, man, I'm still very much a face-to-face kind of guy. I just like to sit. I mean, that's why we've got the farm store going, and I love interacting with people. Like, I like talking to people.
Stuff like that, you're going to need service on it at some point.
Yep, inevitably.
And even if you're a heck of a mechanic yourself, you're going to need parts occasionally.
Yep.
And sometimes you're not going to want to wait for parts to be shipped in. You're going to be broken down, need to be in the field, early the next morning. So you want to be able to run to, a half hour down the road to the parts store.
Yep.
And not have to, it'd be 4 hours away. Like I've had some pretty major issues with tractors that,
to say the least.
You have to have a dealer nearby that can come get it, take it in, tear it apart, fix it, bring it right back to you. Man, that's worth a whole lot right there.
It is. Well, the last several things I bought, like I bought a grain buggy, my little tractor that I bought for the farm store, and the clipper and all that, they brought everything to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, hey, can you bring that to me? And he's like, yeah, we'll get Cannonball to bring it to you. That's like one of their guys.
Well, I probably told the story here. My dad was asking one day, he's like, hey, see if I got a box blade. It's like, I want a box blade. So I was like, all right. I just text the guy the salesman. He would like text me back a price, and I was like the middleman. Dad was like, yeah, sounds good. They brought it to me later that day.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Amazon wasn't that good even back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, used to back in the day, you'd order something like on Amazon on a Sunday, and somehow it would be there on Monday. You're like, holy, how does that even work?
Yeah, the guy's like knocking on your door after you hit send.
But like, it was literally that way. And I told the guy when he delivered it, I was like, didn't really think it was coming today. He's like, I was caught up on other deliveries, and so we threw it on the back of the truck, brought it over here. So yeah, just the ease once you've got a relationship with a dealership or a particular salesman. Yeah, I mean, that's just so nice.
And I mentioned this on the last episode, or the last one we talked about that. One of the best things, even we got a dealership I won't go into too many specifics because there's a lot of people have negative thoughts. There's a certain dealership around here that sells certain pieces of machinery, and I know one of the salesmen really well. And this place, if you look them up online, they have it's like a 1-star rating out of 5. And I've had people that I've sold stuff to that are like, is that so-and-so in that area? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I wouldn't buy shit from them. They have a bad reputation. But I know this salesman really well, and I've called him about multiple pieces of machinery throughout the years. And every time I'm like, hey man, what about this? Man, I can't tell you that. That thing's a piece of shit. And but I've told him specific things that I was looking for, and he'll usually can get them. And he's like, there you go, man. He's called me before. He'll be like, I got what you want now. He's like, come up here and look at this. And I've gone up there, and generally when he does that, I end up buying it and it turns out to do pretty good. So that's the thing I like about dealing with somebody. Once I've got an established relationship, it's really hard for me to break away, which I'd like to be very loyal as well. Like I am loyal to, I'm not necessarily loyal. I can't just say I'm loyal to John Deere. I'm loyal to the service guys that I deal with. I'm
Yeah.
loyal to my rep that I deal with, the dealer that sells. That's who I'm.
The one reason I would never drive anything but a GMC pickup until they took the dealership away from a local guy here when GM went through all their crap, 15, 18
yeah.
years ago, whenever it was.
Yeah.
And I say they took it. I don't know if. But anyway, that dealership closed down, and I'm like, well, I have zero reason to buy a GM. And other than the fact that we did just buy that Chevrolet truck that my parents had traded in, but that was just because I knew exactly where that truck had been, and it hadn't even been hurt. But otherwise, I was pretty much like, piss on Chevrolet, at this point.
I don't have the same thing when it comes to vehicles. Like I am more brand specific which I always buy used, except for my wife's car. But, we don't, it's not the same. I feel like with farm machinery, you really kind of build a relationship. I mean, I walk in there and they're like, oh man, look at this Renegade coming in here. Like they cut up. I go into my Case dealership. They're like, can we help you? What name would this be under? They
just don't know you.
They don't know me. And I mean, if I dealt with them more, they would, but, there's just something about having that established relationship, and I've got that with my Tennessee tractor guys.
Well, and that's, again, we could ramble on forever. I guess that's what we do on this podcast. Ramble on for about an hour and 20 minutes every week.
Wish we could play some Ramble On by Led Zeppelin, but we can't do that.
But sales in general, which I would be terrible at sales. I think I would hate it. Like I would have blown my brains out. But like all our salesmen and saleswomen, let's be inclusive, that come by our office, and like pretty much their job is just for us to like them.
Yes.
That's their only job. Like they need to know a little bit about the products they sell, but like when they come by, like I ask so little questions about the product they sell.
Yeah.
Like we talk about like baseball and football and duck hunting.
Boobs.
Yeah, sometimes. I was going to make some other joke. I'll keep it above board. But yeah, it's like, well, and we've got some female sales women, I guess, that I have good relationships with, but especially the guys, because well, and I like a bunch of them, like we go hunt together and stuff, and just, well, I've gone on fishing trips with them and things. We're like, well, yeah, I couldn't do that with a woman anyway. I mean,
that'd be kind of weird.
My wife probably would not approve of that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, sales really has nothing to do with sales.
You just got to be good at making friends.
Yeah, you just need to be extroverted and like not a weirdo and like just not just a total,
all
tool bag.
All of the dealers and reps that I deal with and use, they're just like they're buddies. They're buddies of mine at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
right.
And ones that do their job really well. That's where, because there's guys that say stuff to me, they're like, oh man, you need to shop around on your seed or your fertilizer or this or that. And it's like, so-and-so got a cheaper price. And some of those guys, they literally they just price check every year, and they go from one to the next and one to the next. And hey, look, it's in this day and age of thin margins, do whatever you got to do. But you never really build a relationship. Like my seed reps, like I could call them and be like, man, something looks weird in my crop here. And they're going to like be out there immediately. They'll be like, man, we'll get out there. And they're going to find a way to try to help me and take care of it. And it's because of that relationship. Or I'll even tell you this, and this is a little tip, and I've shared this I think before, but if you are trying to pick up some ground or something and you establish some relationships with different people in the industry, and you never know when some are like, I mean, these guys, they are in the industry, so they hear about land and all this changing hands, so then they may call you and be like, hey man, there's a farm you could probably pick up. You never know. So that's where there's a lot of things that come around with being loyal. Besides I obviously have to watch my spending, but at the same time, that's not my sole focus.
And I don't know if there's like huge price differences between.
It's not.
Right. And that's the same way, like, we have several distributors we use. We have a couple that are kind of primary. That's mainly because I have the best relationship with those guys.
Yep.
And like sometimes, like, all right, I need to order this. It's a waste of my time to check both of them because they're going to be within pennies of one another.
Yeah.
Because some of them, like the manufacturer, kind of sets the price, so that the distributor doesn't even really get to set it too much. Or they're directly competing with each other, and so yeah, it's a nickel's worth a difference, literally a lot of times. Like, okay, whatever.
That's how that. There a lot of times we've had people that have said like, man, this is so much cheaper. I can get it for you a lot cheaper. And then you look at the breakdown, and it is a lot cheaper, but there's large elements that are left out of the equation. Like if I use everything that these people tell me to use, I'm getting 5 different areas of coverage. If I use everything that we're told to over here and it's significantly cheaper, I'm getting 2 areas of coverage. Like it's not you're comparing apples to oranges. Right. And so that's where it gets kind of,
well, I don't know, like on like, because obviously when you're purchasing seed, those are huge purchases.
Seed varies hardly at all from dealer to dealer.
Well, and so our thing is probably vaccines. And there's not a huge difference in vaccine cost from one manufacturer to the next, and from even one distributor to the next. But every so often, another vaccine company will be like, look, we're going to offer you a deal you can't refuse. And
does Don Corleone come in and make the offer?
Well, and we'll usually listen to them, and we've been very loyal. The vaccine we have used for, it's changed names a few times because they keep getting bought in different companies, but it's the same vaccine. We'll go back to the one we're currently using and say, hey, I mean, it's business. Like, this is what this other company wants to do, and they'll pretty much meet it or beat it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, because I mean we're loyal, but if it's going to save us $20,000 a year to go with this other one, we might make a switch. You know, if it's an equally good product.
Yeah.
Which most of those at this point
on the seed, you're probably talking. I mean, honestly, the biggest I've seen about a $3 an acre difference. And in when you talk about on 1,000 acres, $3 an acre, that's not very much money.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's rarely anything where it's like, oh man, it's $50 an acre difference. You just don't see that. You don't see that very. I mean, everybody.
Well, in those companies, they want to keep your business so much. Or if ours, they'll be like, all right, we can't meet that price, because of the way it'll be invoiced. They're like, but I have some free vaccines I can give you.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll offset.
So yeah, it's like, okay, and it gets where it's like, all right, well, it doesn't even make sense for us to switch at this point.
Yeah.
I'd rather stick with what I've used for years. I know it works. Same way, yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than you go plant some corn variety you've never heard of because it's a few dollars an acre cheaper.
All right. That was good. That was a good one.
Any of you young men or women out there looking to go into sales, you don't really need to know shit about what you're selling. I'm sure there's probably some dickhead out there that's going to like grill you over every single little thing.
You don't want that guy.
Yeah, you probably don't want their business anyway. You just need to be likable.
Yep, be likable.
Show up on the farm, shake some hands, kiss some babies. Don't be a weirdo.
Yep.
Don't like Joe Biden, like sniff the babies. But
yeah. And don't talk about the dude's wife's tits or something until you have like a good relationship.
Have you run into that?
No, I have not. No, but I'm thinking of conversations that I've had with reps, and hey, man, we're men. We have that locker room talk.
Yeah, like
Donald Trump that they
Trump and Billy, what was his name?
What was it? Billy Gunn? Is it Billy Gunn?
No, I don't think that was it. Anyway.
Oh well, but yeah, they hey, you get that. That's the kind of relationships you build with your reps. So, but don't open the gate with that one. That might be a bad way to roll into it. Now, Colby writes in, hello, men. I have 2 questions. First one for Logan. Listening to your tractor upgrading conversation last week, could you pencil out leasing a tractor? Oh, man. I don't know. I'll tell you why this tractor thing is so difficult for me. One, like I said, I've got a lot of equipment that is still financed. And so I'm just strapped. I'm really strapped. But on my tractor, I have this actually financed through the bank. I try to be an open book here. And it's financed through my bank, and I do a bridge loan. So every year I renew this bridge loan, and I pay pretty much whatever I want to pay on the tractor. I obviously want to pay it off, so I don't just pay interest. But in a terrible year, I can only pay the interest, and they'll just re-up the loan. And my interest-only payment is like, I mean, it's not a lot of money. So I like that in case I have a bad year. I'm not strapped, because this tractor I was going to upgrade to, my note would have gone from a guaranteed probably $5,000 to $25,000 note every year, and that's just, I don't know. So leasing it, I don't know if I could lease it. The problem is the leases now, they want you to lease pretty much new tractors, and the leases are really expensive, and I don't know. I've honestly not thought a lot about it because I've got such a good price on that bridge loan right now. So I like the idea of leasing because you can write off 100% of the cost of leasing it. You can't, if you purchase one, you can only write off interest paid, not principal. So, all right, second question for Bobby Lee. Can you explain why you wait to fertilize after your first cutting of hay? We farm in western North Carolina, and we fertilize around the 1st of April to maximize our first cutting. I enjoy the podcast and YouTube channels. Keep up the good work.
We have such a hard time getting that first cutting off on time anyway. Like it's
usually wet.
A lot of times because I've got kind of mixed grass, just cow hay. And so there are some cool season grasses in there, and it's just, a lot of times it's ready to cut by mid-May for sure, and sometimes even earlier, like 1st of May. And it's so hard to find a window for us to get it cut. The first cutting ends up being over mature anyway. And I have fertilized. I think last year I did. And I tried to cut some. I cut some even with some rain in the forecast, and they got rained on like for a week straight before I finally could get it rolled. I was so close to getting it baled. And it like rained that day. But yeah, anyway. So that's the main reason. Our first cutting is just such a. I hate the first cutting because it's just I'm chomping at the bit, ready to go. I hadn't been on a tractor, all winter except for feeding cows, and just rearing to go. And it's just like every day you refresh that forecast, you're like, there's zero window for us to get this hay done. And so yeah, in two with my job schedule, because my schedule's pretty much I can cut on Wednesday, bail on weekends, or vice versa. And so if we've got a window where you could, it's going to finally quit raining on Monday and I could cut on Tuesday and bail on Friday, that won't work for me because then it's going to rain on Saturday. No. But
it's just a scheduling thing.
It's scheduling, and our weather is so just wet, up through, I don't know, usually about the first part of June, the rain will start slowing down. I know a lot of people around here, that's why you don't see a lot of like ryegrass hay and that sort of stuff unless you can, you got a way to bag it or wrap it, bale it wet, because it's just, there's no opportunity to get that hay cut, dried, and baled for dry hay.
Yeah.
At the time of year you need to do it. So, yeah, I don't know the perfect answer to that. Our first cutting this year was a little disappointing. That's one reason we really hit it hard with fertilizer right after. I don't know. Next year we may go ahead and spread some fertilizer, kind of like you, around maybe middle of March to middle of April, somewhere in there, to try to go ahead and get a little more volume, a little more quality out of that first cutting. But if weather doesn't cooperate, it's all for naught.
Yep. All right, man. Thank you for writing in. We appreciate the support. I was fertilizing pumpkin fields today. Getting ready. I'm going to start transplanting them tomorrow.
What do you fertilize your pumpkin ground with?
I just put down triple 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's next year, because every year I'm kind of further figuring this thing out on the farm store stuff. And so next year I'm going to put them in a different location, and I'm going to irrigate, fertilize them through drip tape. That's what my plan is next year, but I don't have that set up yet. So I just ran, I got a little push spreader, and it's a crappy one, and I put a 50-pound bag. I could fill it up 50 pounds of triple 15 and just walk around. And I've had Banks helping me, so I like made him.
How many acres of pumpkins?
Oh man, when it's said and done, it'll be probably close to three acres of pumpkins, and it's in 3 separate patches. I got one here that's like a little over an acre, 2 more because I've got about 300 or 400 pumpkin varieties, or not varieties, 300 or 400 plants, and we're going to transplant them because I normally have planted them by now, but that's starting from seed. So I actually started the seed, and I'm going to use our water wheel transplanter and plant them. So I'll be laying plastic tomorrow. I've been disking and turbo tilling today. So, all right. Taylor writes in, "Hey guys, love the podcast. My name is Taylor Moyer. I am a cattle producer from North Carolina." Hey, that's 2 North Carolina boys back to back.
Yeah, bunch of Tar Heels.
Yeah. I also work for a company called Land Trust. No, not the Conservation Easement Land Trust. Land Trust is a recreation access network, the Airbnb of outdoor recreation, if you will. Well, that sounds pretty neat. We connect farmers, ranchers, landowners to outdoor recreators. We, myself and our CEO, have been on a bunch of podcasts recently with good reception. I'm an avid listener of your podcast who would love an opportunity to come on. You can email me at so-and-so, or my personal number is this. Thanks, guys. Have a great day and keep up the good work. That's what. Check it out.
Yeah, no, we absolutely will. And I should point out, too, I don't want to offend him, he's from the Tar Heel State. Most of our ag people in North Carolina are probably more the Wolfpack type than the Tar Heels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's our ag school over there. So.
Gotcha.
So, no offense intended. Or I guess I could go the whole Matt Gates route and say be offended.
He just replied and said he rescinds his invitation. Oh.
I will go ahead and say I have a lot more respect for the Wolfpack than because generally I'm very biased towards the ag schools in any state.
Well, there you go. Well, Taylor, I'll check it out, man. We'll get back to you. Thank you. All right. JD writes, Logan, hope your wheat did well this year. Have you ever thought of selling beef tallow out of your farm store? Well, I did some wheat and cover crop. I guess that's it, because I haven't grown any wheat in a long time.
No cash crop wheat.
Yeah, but I think I am going to do some this fall, not because markets are good, but just because I got some ground that I need to put some on. Yeah, I mean, prices are shitty on everything.
Build some organic matter up.
Well, some of that ground that I've been clearing, I just didn't have a chance to have it prepared for beans. So I'm like, well, I can just go ahead and put weed on it for the fall. Just have a crop over winter. It's kind of my plan. Some of it's even a little wet for wheat, but I'm just going to go for it. Have you ever thought of selling beef tallow out of your farm store? Well, we do eventually want to have beef, but I'll tell you what we are going to work up. Speaking of beef tallow, we bought some beef tallow. We're going to make some soap out of beef tallow. Our goal is to have, we have learned that sauerkraut sells its ass off. Like sauerkraut, we can't keep it. Like we made 65 jars. It sold out in like 3 days. We've had people wanting it like crazy, so we made a crock of it yesterday, and we're going to make another crock tomorrow. And we should have probably about 90 to 100 jars this next batch. We've already got people wanting it like crazy. We made tomato juice. We made salsa. That stuff's flying out of there. And so I was like, I'm actually kind of digging that a little more than just straight produce. I'm like, man, canned stuff's pretty cool. I sent Jack Carr some honey. Like stuff like that I really have a lot of fun with. And people really like it. So we were like, we're going to make some beef tallow soap. I had bought Marcy some before, and she actually really liked it. So we're kind of getting into that kind of arena a little bit. So we need to talk to I need to talk to a butcher. I've been saying I wanted to link up with a butcher and start getting, because it's just fat that's been rendered. And I want to start getting some of that.
Yeah.
You ever get your fat back on any of yours?
No is a simple answer. I have saved like my beef fat. Like every year for Christmas, we buy a big whole ribeye, and of course they don't trim a lot of the fat, which the outside fat it's the intermuscular fat, the marbling's where you really get the flavor.
Yeah.
And so you trim a lot of that outside fat off. And now I would save it and freeze it, mainly because I was processing my own deer for a while.
Grind it in there.
And so I would mix some of that in with my, my ground deer meat. If I wanted to make some, good deer burger. Now I've got to where I just keep my ground deer just super lean.
Yeah,
Like we just don't make hamburgers out of it, and still good for chili and spaghetti and stuff like that. But,
yeah. All right. Well, he says here, question for Bobby Lee. I know you use Angus bulls and Brangus bulls on your cows. Have you ever thought of using Changus bulls?
Key Angus.
No, he didn't say that. I was just rhyming because I said Brangus, Angus, Changus.
Well, there's a Key Angus that's spelled like CHI.
No, I was just being a dumbass. He said, "Have you ever thought of using Charolais bulls for their growing ability and how well they do in the feedlot?" We've had them. We've had them in the past.
I'm not a big fan of pulling calves. So,
Are they
dead calves don't bring very much money. I mean, no, Charolais is a big old. I mean,
I feel like some of the wild bastards we had were Charolais.
I don't know that their disposition, but I mean, to be honest with you, they're just the wrong color. I mean,
those white bastards.
Not to be racist, but yeah, we can't have none of that. Those damn white bulls out here.
Yeah, we don't want no diversity around here.
No, we do like the hybrid vigor. That's why I really like the Brangus. I think people that shy away from the Brahma, for disposition reasons or
Pussies.
Pussies, quite frankly. You got to cowboy up,
Bobby Lee knows all about it.
Well, yeah, and that was a great example. I don't know if that bull had much Brahma influence in him at all. I mean, if any, it was so little you couldn't even see it, and he was wilder than a March Hare.
Oh, shit.
But so a lot more goes into it than just breed. But man, we get so just blisteringly hot around here. I think, which you can do. I mean, you can still have some Charolais genetics in there, but we got to have something with, to help with that heat and insect tolerance for during our summers. But and then but the markets. I mean, the Angus Association, blame it on them. I mean, I don't know that I love it, but black-haired calves, if you're selling through a feeder cattle auction, I mean, mop the floor with a identical calf of any other color.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we've had black limousine, Simmental bulls, most of the other breeds. You even have the black Herefords now, which that's whatever. Everything's tried to figure out how to get that black gene in there. Charolais, I don't know how that would work. I mean, I guess it would just be a higher percentage. It wouldn't be 100% Charolais, but it because we're just raising commercial calves. We like to have that black hair, as many of them as we can. Which with our Brangus bulls, you don't get 100% black calves, because our cows are pretty diverse too, just in terms of hair color. But yeah, that's probably kind of the simple answer. And I honestly, I was kind of joking about the calving ease, but I do think that is generally one of the things that people will be a little concerned with using a big old Charolais bull on just some commercial cows. Is probably want to be sure you use him on some bigger frame, mature cows. Be sure, because I don't want to pull calves. It makes for good YouTube content, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's otherwise, it ends poorly a lot of times. It's a total pain in the ass. Yeah.
I've even been in on a couple of calf bulls myself, and it was me and your dad did one when I was probably, I may have been 18, and I choked the cow out. We wrapped a rope. Your dad,
all the time.
I've shared this I think before, but I honestly didn't think he could do it. But your dad lassoed a cow. She had a calf freaking sticking out of her. Me and him were in your Jeep now, and we pulled out there, and we were out on Mr. Roberts. This is how long ago it was. It was back when we still had cattle over there at Mr. Roberts.
Yeah.
We were behind the barn, and she was we couldn't get to her. And so your dad literally lassoed this cow and got her around the neck, and I took the rope and I scotched it around a post and then pulled on it really hard because we had to detain her, and we pulled on it, and I pulled on it a little hard, I guess, and it choked her out. And PETA guys, y'all can get over this. It's been a long time ago.
Just cuts her It's like a chokehold.
Yeah.
I mean, you just
It
let
didn't
off
kill
of
her.
No.
She went down, which is actually what we needed her to do, pretty much anyways, but she went down. But we ended up, I remember he had like a come along because we couldn't get her out, and the calf.
Yeah, it's calf pulled, but it's like come along.
Yeah, and he backed his Jeep up there.
Calf jack, yeah.
We hooked it up to the back of the Jeep and we're cranking it, and we got out. Calf was dead. But yeah, that was an interesting day. Yeah, calf pulling.
Yeah, most calves you pull are dead. We had a hell of a good one right back here just a few months ago.
Really?
And I filmed it for YouTube. It actually didn't do as good as it should have. I've had much less interesting and cowboy videos that do better. But I caught her. She actually, and it was kind of one of those deals. I didn't have enough cameras or.
Oh yeah, of course.
I can't film and rope a cow at the same time. Hell, I can't really rope a cow, period. But hell, I caught her, and same thing, got her dallied off to just a thorn tree.
Yeah.
And then we were able to get a couple other loops on her, and we
got her.
Pulled the calf right there in the middle of the pasture. And
yeah.
Well, but yeah, I do not want to be making a business of that.
No, it's not fun. All right, JD.
But yeah, no offense to Charlotte. That is a.
He means a lot of offense.
Yeah.
He does. He hates them. All right. Thank you, JD. We appreciate you writing in. Always write into us. Don't hesitate. Got a couple more of these. We're going to get them. James writes in, hey, guys, my fiance. All right, James, I gotta poke a little fun at you here, man. Just because it's not you. It's just the day and age we live in, I guess. I'm assuming this is what you mean here. Hey guys, my fiance 30F and I 25M run a small farm in PA. I just kind of laugh because I'm like, and I don't know if maybe you're just letting me know that you're the dude and she's the chick, like you got the F and the M, and I'm like, hey, it's just 2024 when you got to like, I'm married. This is my fiance. She is a woman. Like it kind of tickled me a little bit.
Yeah, just the day and time we live in.
Yes, nothing against you. I just kind of like, man, this is funny. But he says we run a small farm in Pennsylvania, about 30 head of beef cattle. Well, PA. Yeah, Pennsylvania's PA.
Yep.
About 30 head of beef cattle, cow, calf, all the way to selling USDA packaged beef from our garage for now. Okay. Can I get that feeding plan from Bobby Lee? Yes, I'll get let me send this to Bobby Lee. I always like to send this literally as we're doing it because otherwise I will forget. So I'm texting Bobby Lee your email now. All right. And then he said, also, Logan, what's your opinion on raising corn without any type of weed killer? My opinion is that that's going to be some grassy corn, man. I have raised corn with weed killer that I didn't like. Maybe I didn't get a good coverage or didn't get sprayed in time, and it was really freaking weedy and grassy. Man, if I was gonna do it,
well, it goes back to kind of what we said, sort of joking, but not really earlier. Corn is a grass.
Yes.
The environment, the growing conditions, the fertilizer, everything you're going to do for that corn is also going to be extremely beneficial for any grass seed that you've got in that area. Crabgrass is going to go just ape shit.
It is. I honestly would try. Man, it's tough. I would say I'd figure out a way to implement some cover crops where you can have cover crops in the middle. You could roll and crimp it and then plant into it, and you'd have that cover that would help mitigate some of your weed pressure. Or I've even considered, like on my pumpkins and stuff like that, getting wheat straw and scattering wheat straw in the middles. Just your goal is you got to have a canopy coverage over the bare ground. Or you could try to plant it. I've heard of guys planting corn in plastic. I lay that plastic mulch. That's what I'm going to be laying tomorrow for my pumpkins. If you can figure out a way to do it in plastic, then you could do it. But man, I don't know. It's that's tough. I've never done it without weed killer, so I really can't tell you. I think it'd be. I would like to hear how you do it. So if you do it, let me know what you do because I'm intrigued. James, we appreciate you, man. Write in anytime. Bobby Lee's should be sending you the stuff.
He should have it well before this episode dropped. Well, because
that's right. This episode won't drop for several days.
Now, he's going to have read that, and he's going to know we must have got to his question.
Yep.
Because he's going to already have that email.
There you go. Thank you, James. Write in anytime, man. All right, last email comes in from Mr. David. David has also been a good listener of the show. Hello, David Sue. Well, I don't want to mention your last name, man. I try to give him a little bit of personal
anonymity.
Yeah. So David here, the guy who mentioned the Tractorcade a while back. All right, man. Yep. Which I recognize your name. I don't have a question to ask this time around, but I just got caught up on the podcast on my ride to and from the beach this past weekend. I just wanted to mention for y'all to pass on to Allie that I'm a single guy and not a weirdo. Hey.
There we go. Hey, I'll see her at work tomorrow. Tell her she damn well better be listening this Friday.
Yes. Furthermore, I thought about applying for Farmer Wants a Wife, but my dad got out in 2016, and now I'm finishing up John Deere Tech School. So he's got a good job coming up. Going on Farmer Wants a Wife wouldn't really fit anymore since the farm is no longer in operation, and it would be hard to balance life during shooting episodes, I'm sure. As always, I enjoy the podcast, even when y'all get off topic. We're definitely past that along. But now we need to know, man, is there like a place can she connect with you on Facebook? Are you on Facebook? You on Instagram? Which Allie I don't think's on like anything.
Yeah.
She's like a hermit on social media.
Yeah, she's old school.
She is, and she's working.
You got to look her up in the phone book. Find her.
Get the yellow pages out. Yep. Message us. We need to
go get the phone book. We used to leave our phone book. It was sitting underneath the phone.
Yeah. A lot of them little things that have the little like nook where you could put the phone book under the phone.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, you got to respond back. Let us know how you want us to connect you to. We'll mention it to Allie.
Yeah.
But she needs to see you, man. Make sure you're not a weirdo. You don't say if you listen to our show, you're not a weirdo.
Or he's a he him.
Yeah, he did not list your pronouns.
Yeah. Please don't. If you would have, we would not have even read the email.
Yeah, we would have just said, don't even worry about this one, Allie. Now, David's been a loyal listener of the show. I recognize the name. We appreciate you, man. We'll pass that information along. Respond to us. Let us know how we can connect you to. And we appreciate the support. That is our emails for now. We've had I've had people message me. I told Bobby Lee on Instagram or Facebook Messenger and YouTube, and they have great questions or great things to say, and I just can't hardly keep up with them. People message us on Facebook, and I'm terrible at checking it on Facebook. So, guys, please, I can't stress enough, email us on the talkdirtpodcast.com because, man, I have, just like Bobby Lee, I've got my iron in like 50 fires, and
oh yeah,
I'm trying to juggle these social medias, and it's hard to keep up with everything.
And I don't do half, and I know you're the same way with my social media that I could. I'll think of ideas and be like, I just don't have time to do it.
Yeah,
I only had one. Normally I'd shoot for 2 YouTube videos a week. I've been on that schedule forever. Sometimes I'll get 3. But last week I only had 1 because I had been out of town at Omaha, so I didn't do any filming that weekend. And I'll go ahead and tell you, well, then people already know because again, this video won't come out for a few days. There's only been 1 YouTube video for me this week because I filmed all weekend. And but I'm gonna have a buddy in town for the holidays. I'm like, I'm not gonna go out on a tractor and be filming and doing whatnot. But hey, we always joke about I need my wife like in a bikini to get me some content, and it all came about organically. She's totally in a bikini in the new one in my video. So again, we're recording here on Monday, so it's coming out on Tuesday, so it'll be a few days. It'll have already been out. So if you're interested in seeing my wife in a bikini, go to my Hurricane Creek Farms YouTube page.
I bet you generate some good responses.
I was like, all right, it's all about I got to get a good thumbnail picture.
Did you get some good angles?
Well, in my thumbnail, I always just do a screenshot of somewhere in the video, and we never did really make sure we had like a good.
Was she like bent over picking something up in the shot?
No, I mean it was just. It was kind of because I wanted to pick. I didn't want just like a random picture of just her sitting in a bikini. I wanted it kind of relevant to what we were doing. Yeah, we were doing some landscaping and some work around the house after I got off
Oh,
the
he was
tractor.
doing some landscaping, he says.
Yeah, no, my mother-in-law and my kids were there too. So yeah, that was. It's definitely, it's all safe for YouTube. So
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. If y'all want to see.
we don't have a Hurricane Creek Farms OnlyFans.
Yeah. Not yet, he says.
I hope I'm never that desperate.
Me neither. Yeah.
I might would do Feet Finder if anybody ever wanted to look at my feet.
Well, guys, we appreciate it. That's a pretty good episode. We hope all of you have an awesome 4th of July, a safe 4th of July. Don't blow your hands off.
Yeah.
Don't get plastered and go
Want y'all to
driving.
all have 10 fingers come Friday morning when
Yep.
you're listening to this.
Don't pull a Justin Timberlake and go driving drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, do your
Hey,
drinking and
I'll say
stay
another
somewhere.
thing, just because from the vet side, I phone's been blowing up this week. Everybody needing meds for their dogs for fireworks.
Oh, their anxiety.
Don't be shooting fireworks till 3 in the morning. Damn it. And I'm going to sound probably old as hell, but like, I think 10 p.m. is when it should be done. That gives you, I don't even know what time sunset is.
As soon as it gets dark, we usually start shooting, and we're done in 20 minutes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. A huge fireworks show was like a half hour long.
Yeah.
So our sunset here in the Mid-South area is 8:20 p.m. So that means it's good and dark by 9.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's no reason for any fireworks to be going off after 10 p.m.
My wife, she always,
And also, don't be the asshole that starts shooting them at 10 a.m.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What are you? Are you just slow? I mean, what's the deal here?
My wife always like dreads it when she works the like weekend following the 4th of July because she's a nurse and she works 12-hour shifts.
But she's in the NICU, isn't she?
Yeah. No, but it's not from that standpoint. It's from she has to get up at like 4:50 in the morning to get ready, and she'll get in bed at 9 o'clock, and then people start shooting fireworks, and she's like, because we got this neighborhood over here,
Well,
and some of them will literally be shooting till midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, man, which my dogs, thankfully, I shoot guns around them and stuff, and so they don't give a shit about fireworks. But
because I'm not a big believer in like the cops showing up to shut them down. I'd probably.
are you gonna say you'd call the cops on them?
No, I'd be up for like the next week at like 5 a.m. Like just shooting off some cannons. Boom!
Give
Every
them the
morning for about a
opposite.
week, be like,
Just giving you a dose of your own medicine.
let's come to a gentleman's agreement here.
Yeah.
You don't shoot them after 10 p.m. I won't shoot them before, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in that.
That's true. Well, actually, there is, though. You could see them at 5 a.m.
Right, yeah.
You'd actually be
And
able to
so
see them.
Be like, yeah, asshole.
This is just when I'm asleep that earlier, so this is
I
when
go to
I can
bed
see 'em.
before it gets good and dark. So if I want to see fireworks, I just do it first thing in the morning.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And I was trying to think, like some people, like they go to bed so late, I might wait and do it like 7 or 8 a.m.
Yeah,
And wake them
yeah.
up. But just to make your point, like, see here, asshole.
Yeah, this is what it's like.
Yeah, I was talking to a client today because I was like, I've got one dog that would be freaked out by it, but I'm lucky out where we live. Like, if you're outside, you can hear them way off in the distance, but in the house, we're good. But
Man, and I will tell you, there's something, I love fireworks. And year before, me and Dad were sitting out because we usually, every night of the 4th, we go over to my parents, and that's where we do like a big fireworks show because we got all the kids and my nieces and nephew and them are there, and we'll shoot fireworks. And like me and him were sitting there, and it was really cool because it was probably 9:30. It was dark, and all you heard was like boom, boom, and you could hear it like way off, and you could kind of see kind of in the sky. And I was just thinking, I'm like, man, this is what it sounded like during like the revolution, like, the Revolutionary War, because there's all these cannons going off everywhere. And like really that's what fireworks are kind of supposed to represent. It's like, this is what they were hearing. Like, it was
rockets, red glare.
yeah, man. Like, and that's where I'm like, if you sit back and you really think about it from
The bombs bursting in air.
are we about to sing this on here? Go ahead, yeah, man, sing it.
Well, hold on. At Christmas vacation, she starts saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes,
Instead of saying the prayer.
Yeah, she even puts her hand up on her. Yeah.
They all join in.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's cool, man. It's the thing. Like, Bobby Lee and I, we talk a lot about the government. And, I mean, I'm generally a big...
Absolutely hate the government.
Hate the government. A true American can hate the government but love his country. And, like...
I think if you are, like, the most patriotic of Americans, you have a natural, like... It's ingrained within us to...
Hate the government.
To hate an authoritarian government. Like... That's why,
As an American.
That's why we exist, because our ancestors were escaping, in some cases, maybe even fighting against. Yeah.
It was a 2% tax, and now we're like 40% taxed. Think about that, guys. We're putting up with that. Well, and speaking of taxes, go to agzaga.com. You will have to pay a little bit of taxes, but you can get free shipping. Or no, not free shipping. You can get 10% off.
At certain times, they've got free shipping promos. But
That's right.
The one sale you don't ever have to wait on is the 10% off sale using that discount code.
Talk Dirt.
Talk Dirt. Yep. Your bayonet wrap. I mean, we talk about that every week because there's nowhere else you're going to find it that cheap with that variety, that selection, that ships a big-ass, bulky item like that fast and that cheap. But all the other good stuff, all the Flexzilla. I need to order some more another air hose for my compressor and some couplers and whatnot.
Yeah,
I got the Flexzilla, the water hoses.
We all go on there.
Name it. All kinds of apparel, good stuff too. They're always adding new items. I got a lot of parts for like balers and some even tillage equipment, hay mowers, anything. You just need to check it out. Scroll around the website.
Yep.
Spend 20 or 30 minutes and then spend a couple $1,000s using that discount code. The more you spend, the more you get off.
That's right.
That's using women's...
And the more you help us.
Yeah. And I mean, isn't that the way women like justify
woman math.
Woman math when they go shopping? Yeah, I spent $2,000, but that means
I saved $1,000.
I mean, 10% off of that means I saved
$200.
Yep. Like, are you kidding me? They gave me $200.
Yep. All right, guys, y'all do that and comment to us on YouTube. I asked for comments. We get the thumbs up. I appreciate the likes, appreciate the thumbs up, appreciate the views. But we want you bastards to talk to us. Comment to us on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe. And to give you guys a thing, we've had several people that have left us ratings and reviews. When you sign up for the giveaway, which you need to go to our homepage, talkdirtpodcast.com, sign up for the giveaway. You still got a couple weeks. As you sign up, it tells you, like, here's how you can gain bonus entries. And we've got some real gangsters. Like, I'll go ahead and tell you, this might make some of you nervous. We've got some people that have gained 20 entries. Like, we got some ballers that have done, like, everything. They've got 20 freaking entries. A lot of people have, like, 3. Some people have 8. But we got several that have 20 entries. And one way you can gain the most, I set it up. I think you get the most entries for going and leaving us a rating and review on Apple. And for those of you that have already done that, you can just click it and just read it. I don't know. You can try to do it again, but there is still many, many ways for you to gain multiple entries. So do that. Leave us a rating and a review. Apple guys, you better get on the ball because the Spotify folks are hot on your tail. Like, they're getting pretty damn close to them on the amount of ratings. So do that. Shoot us a message. Comment to us. And we'll catch you next week.
Yeah. I hope by the time y'all are listening to this on Friday morning, everybody has 10 fingers still.
Yep.
Yeah. See y'all next time.
Later.